Hi everyone, today we will be discussing about pyrazole. So before we proceed into the details about pyrazole, we'll be defining what is a pyrazole. Pyrazole is an organic compound with molecular formula C3H3N2H. It is a heterocyclic 5-membered compound. It is a heterocyclic 5-membered compound consisting of 3 carbon atoms, 1 2 3, these are the 3 carbon atoms, and 2 nitrogen atoms, these are the 2 nitrogen atoms at 1 and 2 positions. So what is a pyrazole? Pyrazole is an aromatic heterocyclic organic compound with molecular formula C3N2H. It is a 5-membered heterocyclic ring consisting of 3 carbon atoms and 2 nitrogen atoms. The positions of the nitrogen atoms are 1 and 2. And what if the positions of the nitrogen atoms are 1 and 3 called? They are called imidazoles. If the position of nitrogen atoms are at 1 and 3 position, it is called as imidazole, and if it is present at 1 and 2 positions, then the heterocyclic ring is called pyrazole. And as you can see the structure, pyrazole is a planar heterocyclic compound. Pyrazole is a planar heterocyclic compound with sp2 hybridization. It follows Huckel's rule of 4n plus 2 pi electrons. So according to Huckel's rule, how many pi electrons should be present? 6 pi electrons. So as you can see, the 2 electrons from pi bond and the other pi bond comprises of 2 pi electrons, so altogether 4 pi electrons, and 2 electrons from the lone pair on the nitrogens are involved into the ring system, are involved in pi delocalization, to give 6 pi electrons. So pyrazole is aromatic according to Huckel's rule. So this is a brief introduction to pyrazole. Coming to the molecular orbital structure, general electronic configurations, we will be seeing each one of them. Coming to the electronic configuration of carbon, the atomic number is 6. The electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. The ground state outer electronic configuration, outer electronic configuration is 2s2, 2p2, and in the excited state the outer electronic configuration is 2s1, 2p3. And as we said, the hybridization in pyrazole is sp2, so we need 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. So here 1 s orbital and 2 p orbitals will combine to give 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. The another pure p orbital has a single electron. So the carbon forms 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals and 1 pure p orbital is left untouched. It is not involved in hybridization. So the 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals on the carbon are utilized in the formation of sigma bonds, whereas the pure p orbital containing a single electron will be involved in pi bond formation. So this was about carbon. And coming to nitrogens, as you can see, the electronic configuration of nitrogen is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Because its atomic number is 7, the electronic configuration is 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. The ground state outer electronic configuration is 2s2, 2p3. In the excited state, one of the s electrons jumps into the p orbital. One of the s orbital electron jumps into p orbital which jumps into p orbital. So in the excited state, it consists of one s orbital and 4p electrons, 4p orbital electrons. It contains, in the excited state, it contains one s orbital electron and 4p orbital electrons. So here, before we go with the mixing up of the orbitals to generate hybrid orbitals, we need to know that there are two types of nitrogens at any instance. Although both the nitrogens belong to sp2 hybridization, the lone pair of electrons present on each nitrogen atoms will vary. Here you need to focus. Take out a book and pen and write down whatever I say. So here, at any instant, you can see that this pyrazole structure is a resonance form of this structure. As you can see, the hydrogen atom is attached to this nitrogen, whereas in the second structure the nitrogen atom is attached to the second nitrogen, but both the structures are same. So here both the nitrogens are sp2 hybridized, but the difference will come only in case of lone pair of electrons. The position of lone pair of electrons, we will be clearly discussing about it. So take down the pen and write down in your notes. So here, for both the nitrogens, the outer electronic configuration will be 2s1 and 2p4. Here, as you can see, we will be defining about this nitrogen first. So this nitrogen is forming how many sigma bonds? One bond with this carbon, the another bond with this carbon, and another bond with hydrogen. So nitrogen requires 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. So the hybridization goes this way: one s orbital electron combines with 2 p orbital electrons to give 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. So these 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals are involved in formation of this bond, and another bond with hydrogen. What is left out? One pure p orbital with lone pair of electrons. One pure p orbital will contain lone pair of electrons, which is not shown in this structure. So here the nitrogen forms 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals and one pure p orbital with lone pair of electrons. Here the first nitrogen, you can write down, one pure p orbital will contain a lone pair of electrons. Coming to the fate of second nitrogen, as you can see, this nitrogen which is not linked. Why? Because at any instant the another nitrogen does not have a hydrogen atom attached to it. So this nitrogen, we will be discussing about its electronic configuration. Its ground state, outer electronic configuration is the same, 2s2 2p3. The excited state outer electronic configuration is also the same, 2s1 2p4. But here what happens is, during the process of mixing, one s orbital will combine with 2 p orbitals, but in the mixing, the p orbital, this p orbital and this p orbital will be involved in mixing. So altogether it forms 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. You can write down, in the formation of 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals, one sp2 hybrid orbital is utilized in the formation of this single sigma bond, and the another sp2 hybrid orbital is utilized in the formation of this sigma bond, and another sp2 hybrid orbital will contain a lone pair. So here it contains a sp2 hybrid orbital which contains a lone pair of electrons which is not involved in resonance, and the untouched pure p orbital will contain a single electron. So here I have written the details about first nitrogen, that is about this nitrogen which is at which has a hydrogen atom linked to it. But coming to the fate of second nitrogen, it also mixes in the same fashion. It also needs 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. So the 1s orbital combines with this orbital single electron and this orbital which contain lone pair of electrons, and another pure p orbital is left untouched. It is not involved in hybridization. So it forms 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals, out of which 2 are involved in formation of sigma bond, and another pure and another sp2 hybrid orbital contains a lone pair of electrons. You need to write this in the notes. I have not written the details, you need to write in the notes. sp2 hybrid orbitals, and the untouched pure p orbital, will contain a single electron, which contains a single electron. So here, as you can see, every carbon atom has a pure p orbital with a single electron, and this nitrogen also has a pure p orbital with single electron. So these pure p orbitals with single electron will overlap to form 2 pi bonds with carbon nitrogen and carbon carbon. So altogether 2 double bonds are formed. And the first nitrogen we have discussed, it contains 1 pure p orbital with lone pair of electrons, so that will be aligned with the pure p orbital, so it will release electrons into the system. So altogether it contains 6 pi electrons, which are making the molecule aromatic. Coming to the molecular orbital structure of pyrazole, you can see these are sp2 sigma bonds between nitrogen and nitrogen. This is sp2 sigma bond between nitrogen and carbon, and this one is sp2s sigma bond between nitrogen and hydrogen. And coming to the structure, here you can clearly see there are 2 nitrogens, but the fate of lone pair's presence is different. See here, the nitrogen, it contains pure p orbitals with lone pair of electrons. The second nitrogen contains sp2 hybrid orbital with lone pair of electrons. So this lone pair is not involved in resonance, whereas the second nitrogen contains a pure p orbital with single electron. So this will be involved in the formation of pi bond. So I have written the pi bond structure. So this is the molecular orbital structure of pyrazole. So 3 pure p orbitals on carbon and 1 pure p orbital on nitrogen. 1 pure p orbital on nitrogen, on the nitrogen contains single electron. So they will overlap to form 2 pi bonds, and another nitrogen contains a pure p orbital. See here, this nitrogen contains pure p orbital with a lone pair. So this is involved in resonance. So this is my pi molecular orbital structure of pyrazole. So coming to the synthesis of pyrazole, the first method is from acetyl acetone. What is acetone? As you can see, if you split the molecule over here, if you break this bond between this carbon and this carbon, break it, this is CH3, C double bond O, CH3. So this is acetone, and this is CH3, C double bond O. This is acetyl. Acetyl is CH3 C double bond O, and acetone is CH3 C double bond O, CH3. So this is acetyl acetone, and you can see that this is the, just we are focusing on the ketone carbons, and we are not just going for the regular numbering, but if we consider this carbonyl as the first carbonyl and this as the third position carbonyl, if we consider this as first position carbonyl, this should be the third position carbonyl. So this can be called as 1,3 dicarbonyls. 1,3 dicarbonyls. So acetyl acetone, when treated with hydrazine, you know hydrazine, NH2. So this hydrogen from the NH2 moiety will interact with oxygen to go out as water molecule to give hydrozones. Write down the intermediate, what you get is hydrazone. So in the next step, this ketone moiety has an oxygen atom which is removed with the hydrogen atoms as a water molecule, and it undergoes cyclization. The ring closure is occurring, as you can see. Then this will become one 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-membered ring with 2 nitrogen atoms is formed, and intramolecular shifting of hydrogen atoms will take place. Intramolecular shifting of hydrogen atoms will take place to give cyclization with intramolecular shifting of hydrogen atoms to give pyrazole, and it is dimethylated at positions 3 and 5. The numbering starts here. 1, the second nitrogen gets position 2, 3, 4, 5. At third and fifth position you have methyl group. So this is 3,5 dimethyl pyrazole. So you can take down synthesis of pyrazole from acetyl acetone or 1,3 dicarbonyls is Pahlnor synthesis, similar to Pahlnor synthesis. This is called as Pahlnor synthesis. And coming to the second method of synthesis, it is from acetylene dicarboxylic acid. Acetylene dicarboxylic acid, you know that acetylene is CH triple bond CH. So if I am removing the hydrogen atom, I need to place with carboxylic acid. So here, and this carbon also we need to remove the hydrogen atom and substitute it with a carboxyl group. So this is the structure of acetylene dicarboxylic acid. Acetylene dicarboxylic acid, and this is diazoacetic acid. As you can see, 2 nitrogen atoms, diazo, and acetic acid is CH3COH. So here have 1 carbon and COH. So this is acetic acid moiety, CHCOH. So this is diazoacetic acid structure. As you can see, these two molecules, when acetylene dicarboxylic acid reacts with diazoacetic acid, it undergoes ring cyclization to give pyrazole 3,4,5 tricarboxylic acid. It gives pyrazole 3,4,5 tricarboxylic acid. We'll quickly go into the mechanism for this synthesis. So here, this is acetylene dicarboxylic acid in the presence of diazoacetic acid. So as you can see, this nitrogen is nucleophilic because it has an extra pair of electrons which gets a negative charge. So in the presence of negative charge, this molecule undergoes polarization. The carbon gets a positive charge, and this carbon gets a positive charge, and this carbon gets a negative charge because of pi electron movement to the second carbon. So immediately when there is a polarization, the negative charge on the nitrogen will try to form a bond with the positively charged carbon. So this is the bond formed. This is the bond formed. So the negative charge is lost on the nitrogen, and there is the bond is formed between carbon. So here the carbon is pulling the bonding pair of electrons, pi electrons, so it gets a negative charge. And here the nitrogen cannot accommodate positive charge. It will pull the bonding pair of electrons to nullify the positive charge, and this carbon is losing a valency, so it gets a positive charge. So immediately the carbon negatively charged carbon, like carbon ion, it attacks the positively charged carbon, the carbonium ion, to form a ring, to completely form a ring. And here you can see this structure. It undergoes intramolecular shift of hydrogen. As you can see here, there is a hydrogen atom. As you can see, this ring structure, this is not aromatic. Why? Because the two nitrogens which are present over here, as you can see, if lone pair is present, they must be present in sp2 hybrid orbitals, and you know that sp2 hybrid orbitals, if they contain lone pair of electrons, they will not release electrons into the system, hence the molecule is non-aromatic. So one of the nitrogen atom gets polarized, it pulls the bonding pair of electrons to get a negative charge, and this nitrogen is losing its valency, so this pi bond has to migrate to form an extra double bond, and this hydrogen atom is pulled by the nitrogen atom to form NH, and the bonding pair of electrons are given into the system to form a double bond. So here you form a isomeric structure. Here the molecule becomes aromatic. So the formation of 3,4,5
pyrazole 3,4,5 tricarboxylic acid. So this is the synthesis of pyrazole, the second method from acetylene dicarboxylic acid, and another method is from the chalcone epoxide. So you can see that chalcone is, the other day we have seen alpha beta unsaturated ketones, they are called as chalcones. You can see this is a ketone moiety and this is alpha and beta position. If there was a double bond, then it is called as chalcone. But if I am removing the double bond and placing with an oxygen atom in the form of an epoxide, this is called epoxide. It is a triangular shape. It involves 2 carbon atoms and 1 oxygen atom. So this is called epoxide. So when double bonds are oxidized with hydrogen peroxide, we get epoxides. So this is a ketone moiety which is left untouched, but the double bond has been converted in chalcone to form an epoxide. So this can be called as chalcone epoxide. So this is chalcone epoxide when it is treated with hydrogen hydrate, NH2 water molecule. So what happens, you can see here the first carbon, the oxygen atom is removed with the hydrogen to go out as water molecule, and the nitrogen is doubly bonded to carbon, and the nitrogen is linked to the second amine group. So this is like hydrazone, this is like hydrazone, and immediately you know that these epoxides being has a bond angle of 60 degrees, they are unstable. In the presence of a nucleophile, like NH2, the epoxide ring opens up. You can see the oxygen atom will pull the bonding pair of electrons to form a negative charge on the oxygen atom, and immediately the carbon loses its valency. So the lone pair of electrons on the nitrogen will try to form a bond between nitrogen and this carbon. So here this is the formation of bond between nitrogen and the carbon, and oxygen pulls the bonding pair of electrons to form a negative charge. The nitrogen is forming an extra bond, so the nitrogen valency is increased to 4, so plays a positive charge. And here the nitrogen will lose one of the proton, and the O minus will take the proton to form OH. As you can see here, it forms OH, and the nitrogen will lose its positive charge. So this will be the structure. After pulling of hydrogen from by the oxygen atom, you can rewrite the structure in this way. So it will be the same. This will be OH, and the remaining everything is same. So here, as you can see, there is no aromaticity. Why? Because there is a double bond missing. So here you know that this carbon has an extra hydrogen atom, so hydrogen atom from here and OH from here. In the presence of dehydrating agent like acetic acid, in the presence of catalytic sulfuric acid, it undergoes dehydration, minus H2O. You can write here minus H2O. The molecule becomes aromatic. So this is 3,5 disubstituted pyrazole from chalcone epoxide. So this is the third method of synthesis of pyrazole. And next, coming to the electrophilic substitution reactions of pyrazole. As you can see here, there are many electrophilic substitution reactions like nitration, bromination, chlorination, sulfonation, and everywhere the electrophile is attacked onto the position. What is the position? 4th position. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to give numbering from first nitrogen, which is linked to hydrogen atom. So this is the nitrogen which has a hydrogen atom. The numbering should always start from there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. At 4th position, the electrophile is attacking. What is the significance of nitrogen being attacked on the 4th position? Electrophile being attacked on the 4th position, not at 3rd or 5th. We'll be looking into it. I'll be explaining it to you. As you can see here, we have said that the pyrazole can exist in 2 forms, that is, nitrogen atom contains this hydrogen, and in the next instance this second nitrogen contains hydrogen atom, and this becomes nitrogen which is doubly bonded. So these are isomeric and they occur very instantaneously. So if you take this case, the imine, this is like imine nitrogen, C double bond N, and out of carbon and nitrogen, the nitrogen is more electronegative. It tries to pull the bonding pair of electrons. So immediately the positive charge will be obtained on third position. Positive charge is obtained on third position, and you know that electrophiles are also positively charged, so positive and electrophile positive will repel, so there is a less scope for the electrophile to attack at third position. And coming to the next structure, here NH is here and this is C double bond N system, and here also the nitrogen will try to pull the pi electrons, and immediately this position also becomes electron deficient because the nitrogen is pulling the bonding pair of electrons. So here the carbons which are adjacent to both the nitrogens are always electron deficient, and the position where electron deficiency is observed, the electrophile will never attack. Why? Because it needs a position where where electrons are rich but not electron deficient. So obviously the fourth position will be electron rich, and it is a favorable position for electrophilic attack. So here you can understand, and whatever I said you can write down in your notes for writing the reason why the electrophile attacks at fourth position and not at third and fifth position. And coming to its reactions, pyrazole in presence of nitration mixture, nitric acid and sulfuric acid, concentrated nitric and concentrated sulfuric acid, it forms 4-nitropyrazole, bromination 4-bromopyrazole, chlorination 4-chloropyrazole, and sulfonation pyrazole 4-sulfonic acid, pyrazole 4-sulfonic acid. So these are some of the electrophilic reactions. And coming to the reaction with oxidizing agent like KMnO4, you know that alkaline KMnO4 is an oxidizing agent, and if there are methyl groups present on the aromatic ring, they become oxidized to generate carboxylic acids. This is a direct reaction where the methyl groups present on the aromatic ring, in the presence of alkaline KMnO4, they become carboxylated. The methyl groups get converted to carboxyl group. So here the pyrazole ring is stable to the action of oxidizing agents, but in the presence of alkaline potassium permanganate, the side chain is oxidized to carboxylic acid functionality. As you can see here, the methyl group is getting converted to carboxylic acid in the presence of alkaline KMnO4. Coming to reduction with reducing agents. This is pyrazole, it has been written as pyrrole, just correct it, it is pyrazole. On catalytic reduction gives pyrazoline followed by pyrazolidine. We know the difference between pyrazole, pyrazoline, pyrazolidine. Pyrazole is aromatic, pyrazoline is partly saturated, and pyrazolidine is completely saturated. As you can see, there is a one double bond here, two double bonds. Excuse me. Here you can see in the structure of pyrazole 2 double bonds, in the structure of pyrazoline 1 double bond, in the case of pyrazolidine no double bond. What are the conditions? Pyrazole in presence of a reducing agent like hydrogen and palladium at 20 degrees centigrade, it gives pyrazoline at room temperature. Whereas if you take this pyrazoline and heat it in the presence of same reagent hydrogen and palladium at 80 degrees centigrade, you get pyrazolidine. So this is the reduction with reducing agents. And coming to the medicinal uses of pyrazole. In medicine, pyrazole derivatives are known for their antipyretic properties. Example, antipyrine. Antipyrine is a derivative of pyrazole which is antipyretic. Celecoxib is a pyrazole derivative which acts as NSAID which acts as an analgesic agent, COX-2 inhibitor, selective COX-2 inhibitor. Celecoxib, it acts as an analgesic. And butazolidine, a pyrazolone derivative. Butazolidine, a pyrazolone derivative, it is used as a powerful anti-inflammatory drug in rheumatic patients. So the drugs you can define under pyrazole are antipyrine, celecoxib and butazolidine, to name some. And it is also used in the production of tetrazine. Tetrazine is a yellow dye in dyeing wool. It is a yellow dye. Tetrazine is a yellow colored dye which is useful in dyeing the wool. So coming to the drug properties, celecoxib, antipyrine and butazolidine are some of the drugs belonging to the class of pyrazole with their uses. And here is the structure of antipyrine. You can see there is a pyrazole ring. There is a pyrazole ring in the antipyrine structure, and celecoxib also has a pyrazole ring. So try to write the structures and remember the structures. Practice the structures. This is the structure for antipyrine and this is the structure of celecoxib. So you can see the core structure. It contains heterocyclic pyrazole. It also contains heterocycle pyrazole. So this is all about the structure, the chemical synthesis properties and medicinal uses of pyrazole.